Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Yosha and I'm your go-to girl for all things real. So today is gonna be a real talk video, and I'm gonna be talking to you guys about the cons of 50-50 relationships for women. And I wanted to do this video because I've done a couple of videos about the whole 50-50 thing, and I've got a lot of feedback, specifically on this video right here. Check that one out after you watch this one. I wanted to do a topic about this because I want y'all to understand, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what you should do in your home or trying to change your preference. Honestly and ultimately, you need to do what works for your household. I do think after my experiences dating with my husband, the things that I went through, that it's better if you have two people that can provide for themselves, that come together, whether you choose to do 50-50, 70-30, 60-40, 80-20, 100-0, that's up to you. You ultimately have to decide because you have to live with it. It is not anyone else's business. And I think the more you keep people out your business, the happier that you'll be, because when you start talking about what you're doing with other people, you start to hear what other people are doing, and maybe what they're doing works perfect for their relationship, but it may not work for your relationship, and that's okay. But I'm still going to talk about the cons of a 50-50 relationship because I haven't addressed that from my perspective, and I feel like it could be valuable and give insight. Now, me as a person, I don't think there's an issue with me paying bills and my husband paying bills. We are a team. It does not bother me. If he made more money, I do think that it would be okay to shift more of the responsibilities to him. If I'm making more money, I don't think it's unfair for us to go halfsies on stuff until he makes more money than me. I've paid more when he lost his job, because if he doesn't have it, where is it gonna come from? That's just what worked for us during that time, and it did require sacrifice on my part. But at the end of the day, when you are married to someone, you can't just be in love with them when it's convenient. And I learned that. I learned how I should have kept people out my business. I learned how I had to understand the difference between expectations versus reality, versus seasons, versus what's going on right now versus what's going on later. And I say that to say that it really just depends on the people. It really just depends on what you're going through. But from having to do more in a relationship, I can speak to the cons of that. So the first thing is, if you are contributing your money, you have less money to do things with. And that's a major con. I'm just going to be honest. Especially if you're spending money on bills and you're not able to do things for yourself. When my husband lost his job, and I'm going to link the videos actually in my description box. I might put a little preview right here. It was definitely a test for our marriage and for our relationship, and it caused me to sacrifice things for myself. I chose not to go get my nails done for over a year. I chose not to really do much expensive hair appointments like I do now, and even now I'm pretty frugal, but like back then I was doing a lot of like just wearing my real hair cornrowed down and putting wigs on top because that was affordable. I did a lot of wig wearing because it was affordable. That in tune made me feel kind of like I wasn't doing things for myself because of the relationship, and it did cause resentment for me towards my husband, because before we got together, I was working full time. I was paying bills for myself and my son, and I was still able to keep my hair and my nails done regularly. And I used to go on trips with my friends, throw little parties, things like that. And once we moved out of our parents' home and into our own home, we had an agreement of what we were gonna do, and then my husband lost his job. And when that happened, it put me in a situation to where I had to hold up more than he was able to hold up. And for me, it was just an adjustment. First of all, it was an adjustment because I was used to paying, let's see, maybe 25% of what I pay now, because I live with my dad. My dad and my stepmom, they required me to pay like $400 or $500 total in bills to them. So let's just say I was bringing home, you know, $1,200 or $1,600, but I'm only spending $500 on bills. The rest of it is for me to spend on my child and childcare, which was a pretty big chunk. You know, having a small child is expensive, and doing things for myself. So I was saving because I knew I wanted a house, but I was also spending on myself. You know, if I wanted to go buy some bundles off Amazon, I would buy the bundles off Amazon, and then I would go pay my sister at the time, you know, $80, $90, $100 to put a sew-in in. And then, okay, 3 weeks later, I don't want that. I'm going down to the braid shop and I'm paying $180 to get some braids put in. I kept my hair and nails done. Every 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to get a full set. I'm getting my feet done. And that was before nails used, you know, are $80. Back then, a full set was about $25, $27, at least in Atlanta where I lived. And the pedicure was about $20. But that was regular maintenance for me. And I don't really consider myself a high maintenance girl. I don't wear makeup. I don't wear a lot of luxury stuff. I don't wear a lot of perfumes. That's never really been me. But keeping my hair and nails done, that was something that I've been keeping up with since I've been in college. So once we moved out, I had the first real sense of adulthood where I had to pay bills, all the damn bills, by myself. And with my husband, because when we moved out, we both were working, so we were both paying bills together initially. It was never a situation where he paid all the bills or I paid all the bills until he lost his job. Once he lost his job, he lost his income, and we're young. We didn't have other sources. A lot of people that are tuning into this conversation, I notice y'all are older. Y'all are in your 30s or 40s. You're more established. I'll be honest, now that I'm in my late 20s, the things that I would have accepted in a man when dating as a single mom or single mother are different than what I accepted when I was 23 and 24, because I know better now. And I know I'm still pretty young, but I have a better understanding of how if you move in with somebody that's living with their parents and they're used to paying only a couple $100s a month, and you're used to living with your parents and only paying a couple $100s a month, you're gonna go through an adjustment period when y'all move out on your own. And that's just period. It's not gonna just be easy on you guys. It sounds cute on paper when you're looking on Zillow and Trulia and they're telling you, oh yeah, this house, the mortgage is going to be $800. But what it really boils down to is when you actually sign those papers and the real numbers come out, you might as well add an extra $100, if not more. That mortgage is going to be higher. And then on top of having that mortgage, you also have all the utilities and the add-ons, cable, internet, you know, ADT security for your house, whatever you choose, right? So I say all that to say, someone who is making $1,600 a month with, you know, $400 or $500 in expenses now is making $1,600 a month, and now the home expenses are $1,350 a month. But then you got to put gas in your car, you got to get groceries, and you really ain't got no change left for anything else. So the negative with the 50-50 thing was that I felt like, you know, I'm paying these bills and I'm really not seeing much out of it. Then on top of that, I'm not able to treat myself the way that I used to treat myself. I'm not able to keep my hair done anymore. I'm not able to keep my nails done anymore. I'm not able to go out and for drinks just because I want to anymore, because my man can't do it right now. And so I have to hold more weight. And what that taught me was that honestly, it's not fair for anybody to be in that situation, whether it is the man or the woman. The whole gender thing, men should provide, and they definitely should. That is their role. Women should submit and take care of the home. That is their role. And that is why I do believe that women should still make their own money even if their man is the breadwinner, because you never know what could happen that could cause the finances in your home to shift. And if you are the person that doesn't have any resources, then you're gonna be kind of shit out of luck if something like that happens. Now, to you women that are resourceful, that are making good money on your own, you have your own home, you got your own car, you got your own place, you got everything going for you, I'm not talking to y'all, because this is not for you. Obviously, you're not gonna settle for someone who's not able to provide for you because you're up here. But a lot of us are not up here, and that doesn't mean that we want to stay single just because we're not there yet. And a lot of us don't mind having someone who will work with us. And a lot of men who are not there yet to where they can provide for another person or even themselves yet, it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't deserve love or happiness either. In America, we've kind of gotten to a place where we do not let black men have those opportunities to build themselves up, or we don't see them valuable unless they can do those things. And we've got to stop that, because women are not treated that way. Black women, we get to, you know, have a bunch of babies and make a bunch of mistakes, and it's okay. Somebody's man out there is supposed to take us with our brokenness and provide for us, period. But if a man is in a weak spot, we are not taught as women to be there to uplift him. Although the whole thing about submitting and being there for our man is telling us that we should do those things. And I'm not saying that y'all would leave your husbands if they lost their money, but some of y'all act like y'all would. If you had to contribute something, $1, you would have to leave the relationship. And I really want y'all to think about how selfish that sounds. I'm not saying you go after a broke man when you're dating. If I was single right now, I wouldn't want a man that didn't have his own house, his own car, and a good, committed job or business that was successful already. Why? Because I have all of those things. So why am I going to be with you when you are struggling and basically you're going to end up needing from me and bringing me down? But when you're in a relationship with somebody and you've chosen that, you cannot choose to give up on them because they need to work on those things. Instead, you should encourage them, and you should, you know, do what you're supposed to do. Now, if I was in a situation that I was in back then again, what I would do differently is just not eliminate my self-care, because he is a grown man and he will have to be resourceful too. I can't sacrifice everything and lose myself anymore, period. Husband or not, baby daddy or not. I've learned that from my past, and you have to still consider yourself. You still have to be selfish sometimes, even when you're married, even when you're a wife, even when you're a mom, because that makes you whole. Doing those things that make you you are what make you happy. And if you stop doing those things, you become an unhappy version of yourself with resentment, and it really takes a toll on the relationship. So for me, I would definitely say with the 50-50 relationships, you may find yourself feeling like you're not able to do as much, and that's going to be frustrating to you. You may find yourself feeling like you can't travel, or you can't go out to eat, or you may have to always contribute to something. I encourage you, if you're doing a 50-50 type situation, anything that's not mostly him paying bills and you paying like little things or your own stuff, to still, you know, establish some sort of cadence to him doing things for you. Don't let him get to a point where he thinks that y'all are always supposed to go Dutch on everything. Like, if it's supposed to be a date night, let him pay and take you out. If it's your anniversary, let him treat you. But you know, 50-50, that means y'all are treating each other, and there is some beauty in that. You get to appreciate each other for what y'all do for each other, and it's not just about what he can do for you, which is very one-sided. I don't care what y'all say, it's very one-sided. And some of y'all are like, I could never see myself working if I became a mom, because I'd want to be with my kids all the time. See, I can tell you don't have kids, because people with kids will tell you do not want to be with your kids all the time. You might want a nanny or someone to help you with those kids, but eventually, after some time, you're going to want something for yourself that's not just motherhood. I'm telling you, you think you just want to be a mom. And don't get me wrong, being a stay-at-home mom temporarily, especially while your child is young and can't talk and learning how to walk and stuff, is awesome, because it gives you the opportunity to be there for those priceless moments. I wouldn't trade that for the world. But to say I literally just want to be a stay-at-home mom and not do nothing else, that's not me. And you have to know who you are. You might be a person that feels like that about working on somebody's job. Like, I could never see myself working on somebody's job. I can't, oh no, that's not me. That's never gonna be me. I've never been that person. I do desire to elevate and grow my own platform to a point where I work for myself completely. I could see that for myself in the future, but that would still be working. That's not me not working, not contributing to my own life. There are things that I aspire to do that my husband does not aspire to do. And I would love for him to pay for those things, but if he can't or is not willing to, especially if I'm making him pay for everything now that he can, then I want to be able to say, well, if you ain't paying for it, I'm paying for it because this is what I'm going to do. So that's the benefit of having two incomes. And just rainy days like Rona, okay? Rona been a long rainy day. You're gonna want to do things that he's not going to want to. And if you ain't got your own money, you can't do it. Now, a lot of y'all independent women, y'all got y'all own money, but you want to spend his. I hear you. It's basically like an extension of your daddy. You know, your dad give you money, you keep pocketing, you keep asking daddy for more money. That's how some of y'all see y'all husbands, and that's how y'all see it. That's fine. I'm not trying to shade you for seeing it that way. But just make sure you're treating your partner like he's a person and not just what can he do for me. Because on my last video, it was a lot of men in the comments saying that they felt like women just kind of felt like that's how they view them. What can you do for me? Oh, if you can't do nothing for me, I'm not interested. And that comes off so selfish. And I just want you to understand that. Like, you're attracting a money maker, but I hope that he's a faithful person, and I hope that he treats you with respect and dignity, and he's not just paying everything for you, but he got 3 or 4 women that he's also doing that for because he can, because you have a king of the crop type man who can afford to entertain those women, and he knows it, and he's gonna go to whoever strokes his ego. So if you're making him feel like you're only good for giving him, you know, pleasure and him giving you money, then he will get bored with that because you don't care about him other than what he can do for you. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Again, I am not trying to tell you guys that you do not need to date a provider. Listen, if anything you learn from my situation, you do need to date a provider, because if not, it's going to require you to do more and it becomes a lot. But what I am saying is just make sure that when doing that and when seeking these things, you are still being a good partner to whoever you're with. And ultimately, what you decide for your home, if you're happy with it, that's all that matters. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them down below. Let's talk about it. I'm going to link down the related videos that I mentioned while talking during this one. Subscribe. I'm on the road to 10,000 subscribers. I'd love to have you here, a part of the journey. And I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.